And you got to experience something for the first time this weekend that I'm kind of jealous of and I have yet to experience. Luckily, I believe I get to do it for the first time coming up later this week here in Arizona. And that is High Limit Racing had their season debut in Las Vegas, right there at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, if I'm not mistaken. That's where their dirt track is. This was your first time at High Limit. What'd you think, man?
I gotta say, I perked up just now in case you couldn't tell. This was probably the highlight of my entire weekend. And that's saying a lot being the avid NASCAR fan that I am. But when I tell you this was an incredible experience, I mean it. Brad Sweet, Kyle Larson, everybody involved with High Limit know exactly what they're doing. And I really wish them the most success because this is, I think, an essential sport for the growth of motorsport. Being out there was so cool because it's going to sound weird, but like when you're out in the elements, I know you're out in the elements in like a NASCAR race, but it's a much more tight-knit crowd. Like there were like maybe 30,000 if you're lucky at High Limit, just because it was a smaller venue. But in being out there in the elements with this small crowd, it's like people are more enveloped in the racing because you're literally thrown right into it. And when I mean that, you're getting pelted with rocks and dirt chips from these cars ripping by you at 900 plus horsepower. And I get romantic a lot about motorsports, by the way. So being out there in the elements, I had this beautiful, picturesque mountain view beyond turn 1 and 2 as the sun's going down, beautiful sunset. Beyond the backstretch, as the night went on, there's a nice full moon. It's got this like fog from the clouds and the dirt being kicked up. So it was a
beautiful.
really
I'm like
awesome,
picturing this. It
was an awesome atmosphere. And again, going back to the smaller crowd and that thing I brought up earlier. Sorry, getting lost there. People are more enveloped in the racing because they're being thrown into the racing itself. And I feel like the people that are there are true racing enthusiasts. They're not people there watching casually or trying it out for the first time like a lot of NASCAR fans are because how big the tracks are in terms of seating. So very passionate fan base. Everyone's very involved, having their own experience because there's so much going on. And I think the access that fans get to this is really awesome as well. Same with media. They got the same privileges and same access that we got. Post-race, pre-race, in between the races. And I think what stuck out to me the most was how loose all these drivers were. Like, they're all like kind of bullshitting with each other. After the race, like minutes after the race, Casey Kane is by his car, cleaning off some dirt clods, drinking a Michelob Ultra. That was the coolest thing ever. As he's taking autographs, signing pictures, and doing all these things. This is all to say that it was an incredible experience. If you have never been to a dirt race like myself, I've been to one previously at Arizona Speedway that's been now demolished, but now being more enveloped in the racing community, being out there was so cool. If you're curious at all, definitely check out High Limit. They got 60 races on their schedule this year, and it's just a guaranteed blast. Like, no doubts about it. And I think it's, again, a very essential series for the growth of motorsport. Just because of you're also seeing these generational talents potentially, like Corey Day, who won the High Limit A Main this week, and you also had guys like Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, all come up from that dirt racing scene. So to get a look at some of these guys that could potentially be in the Cup Series one day, winning championships, is really cool, and to also see the undervalued, underappreciated talents like guys like Brad Sweet, who have not made it beyond that, really. But it really is so cool to see, and cannot recommend it enough. I know I was kind of rambling there, but I got really passionate about how fun this was. So.
That's all. That is so cool. That is so cool. I more people should appreciate that kind of stuff. And I think the fact that you had such a great time as being a mostly NASCAR focused reporter across the last few years of your career is great. That is so good for motorsports in general, that you can have somebody like you go and enjoy themselves at a dirt race, and that's how you grow. That's how
Yep.
you grow, is you grow from the bottom up like that. And I think it was announced this week, and Brad Sweet talked to Kenny Crash and yourself about this. You can catch that interview right here on YouTube. If you are subscribed to the channel, you can go and find it. And he talked about how they have now announced this brand new franchise system that they're implementing this year in the hopes to continue to grow the value of those teams and get people more invested in the sport of dirt racing, sprint car racing here in the United States. So I'm excited to go check it out. The closest I've been to a dirt race is I went to a Lucas Oil off-road racing event here in Phoenix out at Wild Horse Pass several years ago. And it was cool to see like these, I apologize, I don't really know much about the off-road racing series, but it was cool to like watch these trucks basically, Pro 2, Pro 4, like do these jumps and stuff like that on such a short racetrack. It was short course off-road racing, and it was really sick. And I really enjoyed doing that. So I'm excited to go check out High Limit this week here in Arizona. We're going to be out there, SpeedFreaks, myself, Cole, I think you're going to be out there. Cody, producer Cody's going to be out there as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be a lot of fun. Cole, speaking of Corey Day, you caught up with Corey Day after the race.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just I think a great night of racing. I wish we would have got 2 nights of racing in for sure, especially because I qualified quick time on Thursday night. But yeah, just glad there was a lot of fans in the stands tonight. I'm hoping a lot of new fans from over at the big track, and hope they all got introduced to sprint car racing with a great race.
And then really dominant night for you. What are you looking to build off of as the season progresses?
Yeah, just kind of keep doing what we're doing. We really didn't change a lot from what we ended with last year, and with tires changing as much as they have over the past couple of years, it's really, really encouraging that we can, have a good baseline that's consistent. So, yeah, I was super glad with that. A new crew chief for me, new car chief, new team personnel, I guess you could say. So, yeah, super encouraging to start the year off hot.
It was kind of a bummer. Corey mentioned, there was some rainouts this week on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It was unfortunate that Christopher Bell, who was originally scheduled to run in the season opener, wasn't able to do so on Saturday night because of the rainouts that Corey Day was mentioning there. But look out for Corey Day, Cole. Corey Day, running the truck series this year for Spire. That kid, him and Connor Zelich, man, those two kids are like going to be legit, man. They're going to be so much fun to watch as they continue to progress in the NASCAR circuit up the ranks. Because, we don't really talk about that often, but like if you think about like a lot of these big NASCAR Cup names are starting to move on. So we need a new generation of drivers to get behind and that are fun to watch and are talented. And I think we're starting to kind of see that, Martin Truex Jr. is retired, Tony Stewart's retired, Clint Boyer, like that, Jimmy Johnson, right? Those guys are leaving the sport. So to have Corey Days and Connor Zelich's of the world, pretty important to see those guys continue to grow.
Yeah, and honestly, like I didn't really, I've obviously heard a lot about Corey Day, but I did not really know much about him. So getting to see him race firsthand and getting to talk to him after the race, I get the hype now. Seeing him able to hold off Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet, who, by the way, Kyle Larson, it was an honor watching this guy rip dirt. He was making some insane moves out there, so that was really cool to see. But anyway, Corey Day to hold off these legends in the dirt scene, and for him to be so well put together and so well spoken for his young age, it spoke volumes to me. And I think he has an insanely bright future in the sport of NASCAR. So I'm very excited to see his career and how it takes off. But again, you mentioned it right there, Richie. I think another reason why this is, again, so essential for the growth of motorsports is so you can see these guys, these kids develop into the potential superstars that they can be, whether it's in NASCAR or IndyCar or any other form of motorsport, because it really is like grassroots, but there's also these superstar names that enter the series, like your Kyle Bushes, like your Christopher Bells and Kyle Larsons, that there's enough interest there to really keep new fans engaged or people that are curious engaged. And another thing that I failed to mention during my experience at High Limit is I really appreciate how quick and to the point it is. Like there's no one race for 3.5 hours long like NASCAR. You your heats, you got the dash, you got the mains, and they were all like the main was 30 laps for the A. So it's like very short and sweet. It keeps people's attention, and that's a very important thing in this day and age where attention spans are so small and diminished.
Yeah, Brad's been on the show. Brad Sweet, co-owner, co-founder of High Limit Racing. He's been on the show many times. Kyle Larson as well, and they both talked about that very thing, which is they want to make these things entertaining. So you're in, you're out, you're entertaining. You're not sticking around all day in the hot sun, et cetera, et cetera. And they put on a great show. And that sounds like High Limit put on a great show.